hitting it sweet like he always does. So, you know, Dino's deep in the court. He's covered a lot of territory already in just, 30, 40 minutes of play. So when you're a junior coming up against the greatest of all time, it's just so different. But he's really holding his own, and he started very well.
Effortless excellence from Djokovic's racket.
I'm loving his sense of belonging on this big court. It can't be easy to come out here. It's a full house. You're playing the greatest, and he senses that he belongs on the big stage. And of course, at 18, there's so much more upside in every part of his game. So I think this kid's got a really big future. How big, we'll find out as the years unfold, but there's no doubt we're seeing one of the players of the future.
Let's first. Love 15.
Well, against most players, that might have been okay, this approach. Not quite deep enough, not quite wide enough. And against Djokovic, though, it's asking for trouble. Look at the accuracy there on that second ball. Is he the most accurate player you've ever seen? He has to be.
I mean, it feels like it, doesn't it? When we're witnessing a generation of absolute dominance, and we're certainly seeing that from Novak right now. It feels as though he is.
Yeah, look at that ball there, Mark, and then this one, the other side. It's uncanny how accurate he is. And Josh is right. You know, Dino's covering all sorts of territory just to stay in the point because of that.
Love 14.
And that forces a younger opponent to go for more, something he's not familiar enough with yet, and draws more errors.
Perfect setting, and it does feel as though there is another masterclass loading here from the world number one.
You think he's not relaxed? Hope that wasn't Josh he was talking to there.
Cain. Djokovic.
Just brutal brilliance from Djokovic. Nothing that Prižmić can do about it.
How's Tony? Is he out here or?
Always difficult, isn't it? Through the present lens that we're looking at Djokovic in, as you say, He does feel like the most accurate player. At times I feel like he's the best server I've ever seen, but obviously there were moments when we were back watching the likes of Becker and Borg and McEnroe and their absolute pomps and Sampras, and you kind of felt the same thing about them.
Well, maybe at that stage, you know, as time evolves, you know, they were the best players of the era, and you know, you remember clearly what they're doing at the time, and it just seems the same. But now, I mean, I don't think I've seen someone more accurate than this. He just has the ability to hit the ball in that small little area.
Time.
More problems for Dino in terms of that leg issue that he's picked up in this match, or maybe he had a little bit of it coming in and he was hoping that he would be able to get through without having the trainer out here, but not to be at the moment. Bit of wear and tear having come through qualifying.
He may not be able to get those shorts over that bandage now, by the way. Hope he's okay.
They've got to be size small for sure, or extra small. They are tiny. They're painted on.
When can I rest my case about the accuracy, or should I just accept it as normal? I mean, second serve on the line, moving away. It's incredible to watch.
Actually thinking with Andre here, obviously their partnership lasted just under a year with Novak back in 2017 when he hired Andre. Had obviously made a few comebacks of his own, and Novak was looking to come back from the elbow surgery that he had had. But one of the big things that Andre did was change rackets for Novak and just remodified it. Andre, after that split, saying that they agreed to disagree on numerous occasions, but the racket was something that they definitely came together with. Sent about 30 frames over to Riccardo Piatti's place just outside of Monaco. Novak said, I can't test 30 frames. You need to pick 3 that you feel are going to be probably my best fit from what you know about me and how I play. Which is exactly what they did. They took a little bit of lead take down off the top of the racket, dropped it about 10 grams. But the biggest difference they made, and you talk about accuracy, Fitzy, which is why I'm telling this story on set point, they changed the string pattern from an 18-20 string pattern to an 18-19. They made it just slightly wider, and it definitely helped him have a little bit more accuracy on the ball. And there is another one that lands right in the corner of the corner, and Prižmić with his back against the wall. And there's nothing better than watching somebody excel at something that they have unconditional love for. I know that people love to see matches and they love to see great arm wrestles, and obviously they're the matches that we remember ultimately, but the volume of work that Novak has put in over the course of his career to come out and do what he's done tonight again is just still a joy to watch, as we see some of those numbers. Hasn't gone hunting his third shot forehand at all here tonight, Novak. That's how comfortable he is using his backhand.
I don't understand the energy spent there. It says that Novak's used more energy. It doesn't seem that way to me.
Sometimes I feel like the energy spent is in terms of shot speed, what you have to put into the shot to be able to generate the pace of shot that he does. And often the person that's kind of dictating is working a little bit harder. Maybe he's not using his forehand as much after his serve, but he's using it a little bit more in terms of making sure that Prižmić is having to do the running side to side. And he's certainly doing a lot of running side to side.
When you look at that point, it seemed like Novak was doing it easy, didn't he?
There is an awful lot of love in the world for Novak right now, especially here in Melbourne.
Second set.
What, if anything, can Prižmić do at the start of this second set to confuse the issue for the world number one?
Love 15. All.
Not happy with a mortal sort of shot.
Thirty, 15.
Like the body serve.
40, 15.
It's Peter Boll there, our 800-metre champion. Mark?
Didn't I see him on Instagram on one of the evenings here with Novak doing some sprints?
Novak and friends, yes.
Yep.
Don't tell me Novak was...
No, he didn't get the better of him, no.
Good game.
Good match. First game, second set.
Yeah, the crowd very appreciative of the way that Prižmić has come out here. They can see the effort that he's putting in and doing his best to compete as hard as he can. That was, as you said, a very good game. Josh, when you look at somebody like Prižmić over the first, what have we had here, like 48 minutes, is it just time that he needs, or where are you looking at the gains he's going to need to make?
On serve particularly, I just think just needs a little more shape on serve, particularly on the second serve, more of more kick serve and variation, and I think that will evolve. You can see that he's, of course, grown up and played a lot on clay, so I think there's still a lot of improvement to be found on serve, and it'll organically happen the more that he's at this level and getting these big matches against great players. So I just think he's got such a bright future, and I don't think he's overplayed. He's been very comfortable by the situation, so I think he's going very well. The scoreline probably doesn't reflect how well he's playing.
Get the sense in a rally like that the left leg that he's got taped is being problematic for him. He's not loading as much. 3 of those he was kind of leaning for, wasn't getting right behind the ball. Therefore, he's not going to get the best possible strike on it.
It'll be interesting as this match unfolds and as more data becomes available on Dino's ball striking. Like, it looks like his numbers are decent. Looks like he's hitting it pretty hard and just comparative to Novak's weight of shot. So just for an 18-year-old, his weight of shot is very good.
$30, 15.
I'm starting to wonder too whether he is not enjoying that stretch out to the backhand side there. Dr. Josh Eagle will check that out for us.
And you could bet your bottom dollar that Novak, his awareness to all these types of things is just next level. So he is just directing so much traffic out there to that backhand side. And he does play a lot of backhands with an open stance. And that's going to hurt if you've got any impingement whatsoever in your abductor. There he goes again.
Djokovic. 1 game over.
Invaluable time out on the match court though here for Prižmić, and that's what he wants to bear in mind, no matter how sore that left leg is and how much he's getting overplayed.
I like the fact they're letting fans in more readily, not keeping them locked out for 3 games at the start of a set.
Bring it now, or we bring it now, or yeah.
I think he was just asking John Blom, how do I beat this guy?
He's asking the wrong guy.
Let us.
I didn't know Josh was a stand-up comedian like either, by the way.
Ask John out at a 60-degree wedge from 40 yards out. He's probably going to give you a pretty good indicator. Well
Great
done.
Great effort. That's what it takes to win 1 point.
15 love. Thirty love. Love.
Great acceleration through that particular shot. Sometimes you feel as though he spins away from the court a little bit too much, doesn't get as much on it, but that was an absolute beauty.
Yes.
What's the follow-up serve?
Prižmić leads 2-1.
Fighting to stay competitive, and he's done a good job. 2-1. It's like a wellness centre out here, Fitzy. Don't get that much attention when you go to the spa. It's one after another.
He has to do this at the change of ends now, right?
For that injury,
Yeah.
correct.
He's looking rather impressive, isn't he, for a youngster? I mean, this is pretty confronting. I think you get an idea at home when the camera goes right down onto the court and you see how big that area is with all of the spectators just sitting above you. Intimidating place to be.
Well, he is an absolutely remarkable champion, isn't he? With that run he had from 2010 Wimby through to the French in 2016, he made 23 out of 24 slam semis. Absolutely ludicrous consistency from this man. Stan Wawrinka, who lit it up in 2014 here in Melbourne, the only blemish for this man in that period. When he's at his peak, he is unstoppable. Prižmić doing a nice job at the start of this second set.
Love 15.
One thing's for sure, he would not have been a good drawer in qualifying. He's a good player.
And more importantly in this era, he is a fantastic athlete.
$15 all.
Josh, he must be pretty quick because Novak overplayed that drop shot then.
Yeah, I'm just not so sure Novak's... Yeah, he's obviously trying to move Dino around. That's a clear tactic here from courtside, so I just may have just overplayed it a little bit. Very noticeable how much he's really trying to make the youngster move side to side, bring him up.
Croatian grip, not Aussie grip. Mark Webber in the house. Decent bit of acceleration on the tennis court as well. And that was some fine finesse, and incredibly, Novak still made him play one extra shot.
Thank you. Time elation, warning Mr. Djokovic. Prižmić.
He has fired up Melbourne. What a firecracker.
Prižmić leads 3-1.
Well, after that game, I'm sold. I mean, he has to be the real deal to be able to perform like this, even over a short period of time so far in this match. Some of the tennis he played there was of the highest level. They're pumped down there.
Players are ready, thank you.
He's left a lasting memory no matter what. Statement.
Love 15.
What a response from Djokovic.
Love 13.
And in the country that invented the boomerang, here's potential for the boomerang break.
15-13.
Such a rare occurrence as well to break Novak in general over the last 52 weeks. One of the best holding serve. In fact, I mean, you're getting down into 0.6% that separates him and the best, which was Tsitsipas up at 88.4%. Novak at 87.8. That's how good his serve is. That's how secure it is in general. Pinici is a fitness trainer, but he also is a qualified tennis coach, and he sometimes, as we've seen in the past, does get involved. Couple of rippers off the forehand side on the return from Djokovic.
3 games to 2, second serve.
And we're quickly back on serve. That reminded me of the Crocodile Dundee scene in New York. Do you remember when he was in New York and the guy comes to try and rob him, and he's with his knife, and then Crocodile Dundee pulls out the sword. He goes, "That's not a knife." Bang. That's what that forehand return felt like at Lovell in that first game. That was a great returning game, but that's just even going to be even better.
Nice forehand, but this is a real forehand.
I mean, that was just a little bit of ego right there, just being absolutely planted down the other end of the court.
Well, he is a junior, and he's just pushed me a little bit too far here. A little bit of annoyance, though, that the juniors stayed with him in this set. In fact, got ahead of him. I think one thing you need to do is not celebrate too much, though. Got to be careful getting under the skin of the bear. Don't poke him.
Golden hour here on the opening day of this year's Australian Open. One extra day being slotted in, and you can understand why. The demand is here. There is an argument to say, walking around the grounds today, they could easily start it another day earlier. Such is the warmth for this particular event, as the sun sets on a fine opening day, with still much more tennis to come and so many storylines to be written over the next fortnight.
Please.
He's got a complete game now, hasn't he? You can tell when a young player moves forward, I think, in the court more than anything else. You expect a good prospect to be solid with good technique at the back of the court. But when they move forward and they show versatility, feel, they know how to open the racket face, take speed off the ball, that's starting to convince me that he's probably a complete player and will certainly evolve into one.
15 all. Let's first serve.
That two-handed down the line is fraught with a bit more danger than the one across court, obviously. Over the higher part of the net, shorter target. All of that, and to change direction like that. But he has to take risks, doesn't he? To get Djokovic to stretch and to be a little bit uncomfortable. That's the type of choice of shot he needs to make, I'm sure. And it's one that might produce a few more errors.
Okay,
Carlos Gomez Herrera just on the other side of Goran to his right. Came on board last year. Good friends with his brother Marco, and they trained down in Marbella together.
Thirty.
Milan on the left is physio. I believe that's Stephen Sashan at the back left over Milan's head there. I believe he's the chiropractor. He has a practice here in Carlton.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, it's happened a couple of times already. Please don't call out just before the player's about to serve. Thank you. Djokovic.
Showing a bit of emotion means he feels like he's got a contest, doesn't it?
3 games all.
Big couple of games that for Novak in terms of trying to ease his way through to the second round tonight and not getting himself involved in a dogfight. Everything may be all right with the wrist, but obviously the less time he has to play out here in a competitive environment, the better it is.
playing on the first day, the first night in this case of the tournament, it allows you to spread your matches out. If you go through to the back end of the tournament, you have more downtime. And it's a 15-day tournament this year for the first time. So there's an extra day. Who's the smart guy playing on the first night so that he'll have more rest days in between? Shooting through on the champ. I think tonight it'd be a little bit slower, Josh, than during the day.
A little bit. He's looking a little agitated here, Novak. You can see sometimes he's looking up at the coach. There's a bit of dialogue between him and Goran, so just showing signs of he's a bit tense, but I think that's just due to the quality of what Dino has produced. It's always hard to compare, isn't it? But I've had the luxury of being courtside for Novak's first matches over the last couple of years here, and sometimes I think, boy, he's not playing quite as well, but I just think that's the quality of what Dino has brought. So I think Novak's ball striking has been excellent, and he's got to be happy with how he's hitting the ball. But I think this next sort of 10 minutes is really telling in this match and which direction it goes.
Gee, he's got some game, hasn't he? Really impressive.
30-all.
No problems generating his own pace from up high, from a slow ball that's up high. That was the second one. The first one I thought was incredibly impressive.
I'm
not sure about you two guys, but I can't tell you how impressed I am with this lad tonight already. Gee, this is this is a high standard.
I agree, Fitzy. I just can't really think of, of apart of the obvious Carlos Alcaraz and Holger Rune. I mean, this kid is awesome. He's got so much firepower. Forehand's massive.
And perhaps even more impressive is his fight. He hasn't been overruled at all by the occasion. 4-3, Prižmić, second set. One thing he's going to have to do in the next game potentially is try and dig himself out of that backhand corner where Novak has been peppering the 18-year-old. Has been very quickly after the serve. He's been trying to get on the front foot. He's been trying to look to push Prižmić back. And how does the Croatian get himself to neutral? And then if you just have a quick look, this is what it's been looking like tonight for Prižmić on the return. And you can see this is Novak's depth on after his first shot. Prižmić gets the ball back into play, and you can see how deep he is having to backpedal, but particularly into that backhand corner where he doesn't have as much pace on it. Well, they came to celebrate their great champion. Won it for the 10th time last year. But they have come also, I think, to salute this great contender. 18 years old, and in his first ever match against the top 10, he has acquitted himself absolutely magnificently out here, Prižmić. And we're at the gritty end of a set as well, where just one bad service game potentially is unrecoverable. There's parts of Melbourne that Prižmić has seen tonight already that people that have lived here for 40 years haven't. Novak working him over.
I cannot tell you how good this looks courtside, guys. This is just awesome again. The physicality for 18, but just the power, the self-belief. There's so much to like about it. He is the complete package already.
You wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley either, would you, Josh?
Not with those quads.
He's a big lad.
30 love.
I think he's going to have to risk a little more at times on that position on the due side. He's very wide. I know he shuffles over a little bit to his left-hand side, but it's tough for him to get his forehand into play very early on the return because he's so wide. He's going to have to hit backhand, stay there, and then get to the middle of the court. If he could drift around it a little bit more and hit his forehand, he'd be already in the middle of the court. Plus, it's a quicker shot with more variety. Going to have to accept that Novak's going to burn him a few times on that deuce side out wide with the serve.
Cain, Djokovic. New ball, please. 4 games all.
So Djokovic heads for a new racket, new restring, I should say. This will be slightly tighter in the hand. Brand new. That's because the new ball's a faster mark, isn't it? And you'll feel like he's got a little bit more control here.
Yeah, there's some numbers that are significantly different tonight. Second serve points won, hugely different. Prižmić just 5 out of 16. Novak protecting his second serve beautifully, won 11 out of 14, but also returns back in a court. Novak has only missed 6 out of 42 serves. That's a rare miss. As I just highlighted it.
Well, that's come from the new balls. They're so quick through the air. The felt is still compacted so tightly around the core of the ball, and it just carries further. That's why you needed a tighter racket to try and control it. Still couldn't manage to keep it in.
Let's first. Portugal. Forty, 15. Cain, Prižmić.
Another hugely impressive game, 5-4.
Prižmić leads 5-4.
Arguably his easiest service game in terms of missed returns from Novak, and the way that he's delivered that just puts a little bit of pressure on Novak. Definitely looks as though he's done a little bit of work in the off-season on that serve. When I watched him serve in Stockholm when he was playing there and beating Lehečka, just looked as though he could get a little bit more out of the serve with the leg drive. But when you look at the back leg coming up here in Melbourne, it certainly looks as though he's getting towards the kind of pace that he needs if he's going to be up in amongst it. Off the ground, we've seen that he's more than capable. Diminished light, but certainly not diminished in terms of entertainment around Melbourne Park, as these fans continue to be engrossed by what they see in front of them. And it's always great to see a new name, somebody that you haven't seen before, up against one of the most established players, and one that will go down as arguably the greatest of all time. And it is a stern test of Novak's skill in this second set currently. Unexpected maybe, but definitely welcomed by the thousands that are here.
15 love. Love.
And that's the thing about Novak's serve. That is absolutely bang on average in terms of his first serve speed tonight at 192. But if you don't hit your spots, and that's what's so impressive about Novak's serving these days, is that more often than not in those big moments he does. Because if he doesn't, it can be a fairly comfortable pace for these players to return.
T15.
He certainly hasn't had it all his own way, has he, in this set, Novak? So this will have his attention, no doubt. He'll be thinking, yeah, this kid can play. He's one of the next group. Doesn't mean he won't beat him in straight sets, but this set's still in the balance a little bit here.
Cain, Djokovic.
Just happens to be twice his age.
5 games all.
Twice the wisdom.
Crowd really getting involved here, guys. It's loud courtside, and I would expect Novak right about now just to try and play a really disciplined game, really try and make a lot of balls. Slight bit of wind coming from behind his shoulder, so his shots have got a little more velocity, a bit more shape, and when the ball hits the court, it's sort of jumping and pushing Dino back. So let's just see how much Dino can withstand in this game.
Well, it's rare that he's had something like that to work with, but how quickly he capitalized on it.
Chila.
Last couple of service games, things getting even better for the 18-year-old. Lots of misses from Djokovic. And Prižmić assures himself of at least a tiebreaker in this second set. One of the most impressive things is how well he's done behind his own first serve. This set alone, just the 3 points dropped when he's made his first serve for Prižmić. And against the greatest returner of all time, that says an awful lot about him in terms of his ability to back up his first serve when he delivers. It's not as though he's picking up that many aces to make life comfortable, just the 3 in this set. Looks almost tropical, Melbourne tonight. The heat, the tropical heat, will be drifting into town over the next few days, with the mercury set to rise up into the 30s.
Chila. Chila.
The next 5 or 7 minutes
16-0, second set.
Will be interesting.
Not just the best player in the world currently, but the best player of tie breaks as well.
Prižmić.
Djokovic with 324 tiebreakers won, 167 lost. Prižmić at this stage of his career has only played one breaker and he lost it. Off to the perfect start here in the second set though. Second fastest second serve of the night, just to keep Prižmić at bay. Well, not to get disarmed, Fitzy, after what was a rocket of return. He then hit the reset button and outlasted the world number one.
Prižmić.
Well, to a small degree here, I'm just sitting here shaking my head. I didn't think he could be this mature, this advanced so early. What a performance this is so far. To win the match is a whole different ball game, but this certainly has everybody's attention, including Novak. Did the hard work.
3-2.
Although Novak distracted from somebody in the crowd.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please, as the players are about to play, and especially just before the serve, don't call out. Thank you.
Just goes to show how tense Novak is here right now. He's concerned here. I guess there's degrees of concern, but he's got some. So here's Martin Murphy's Laura's at play at the moment, Novak. A few things going against him, including a let cord, an awkward ball presented to him. And he's down a mini break in this tiebreaker.
He's a little bit irritated as well. He's just on edge. He's just, I think he's a little surprised how much is coming back. He's throwing a fair bit at Prižmić, and just so many balls are coming back. And this is a big couple of minutes coming up. Does Dino have the self-belief to go on and win it from here? That would be really interesting if we go one set all. I mean, Novak, he's on the edge here.
Let's second serve.
Has been dropping a little deeper in this second set. Prižmić on the second serve of Djokovic hasn't really worked out for him. But what it has allowed him to do is make more returns.
5-2.
And in the most pressurized of situations in this second set, that simply was good enough.
You can understand, as great as Djokovic is, there's still a little bit of something to lose here. Playing against a young gun, a Croatian. Same part of the world. So not a lot to gain, but a lot to lose here for Djokovic.
Prižmić.
Novak, who's won his last 17 out of 18 tiebreakers in the majors. The only one he lost to Alcaraz last year in Wimbledon in the second set in that quite simply breathtaking final. And Prižmić has yet to emulate Alcaraz.
Prižmić. Prižmić.
Silence greets the third set point for Prižmić.
Second set, Prižmić.
Amazing end to the second set. You felt as though Prižmić was going to pay the reputation tax, but he didn't need to. Settle. that's why you come, that's why you buy your ticket, and that's why you take your seat right at the start of a match, because you just never know what is going to unfold in front of you. It looked early on as though Novak was going to dominate. That's certainly what the opening set suggested. But Prižmić had a little bit more in the tank, and he came back superbly in that second set. And he really did tidy up his game. Some absolutely incredible winners that will remain in the memory banks long through this event, particularly the forehand on the break point where he went 3-1 up in the second set. And Novak was working him hard all over the court, and that may well pay dividends for the world #1 as we go into sets 3 and 4 and potentially 5. But that was the moment things turned. That was the response from Novak. It was timely, it was fierce, but it wasn't enough.
Find your seats quickly, please.
And if people didn't know him before they came in, and I'm sure there were many, they certainly are remembering the name Dino Prizmic right now. Just taken the second set off the world #1. And just the third Croatian player since the ATP rankings were published in 1973 to win a set against world #1. Goran Ivanisevic did it 3 times. Marin Cilic, the once. How many more potentially can the 18-year-old take? Crazy court coverage.
All. He's
got a very physical style, Prižmić, Fitzy. I mean, if there's one thing that would concern me is over 5 sets against somebody like Novak or Alcaraz, who's going to push him into the corners, and how low he goes and how much effort every shot takes out of him. What the cumulative effect of that is. If he can hit that, he doesn't have to run. That's a simple solution.
I mean, you look at a guy like Rafa, though, and he's big, powerful. You know, they're power athletes. The guy that's built like this, yeah, I mean, over time, I mean, he's got to get more miles in his legs, doesn't he? And maybe he can take a leaf out of Novak's book and just become incredibly supple.
Oh, another look down the court there from Novak.
(40-13). Yes.
Well, he's already answered the fact that his best tennis is good enough, isn't it, Prižmić? But the question tonight, I think, is how long can he maintain this for? Because he's playing at an awfully high level.
Novak Djokovic.
And he's going to feel physically superior. You can see how quickly he's getting up to the line here to try and serve.
Cain, Djokovic.
And he delivers.
First game, third set.
Opening game on the board in this third set goes Novak's way. And it was interesting to see him look over down the court. He did a lovely 60-minute interview with John Wertheim last year, at the end of last year, talking about the fact that although it's not a contact sport, tennis, he is very much watching his opponent at every stage. When they sit on the changeover, what they're drinking, how they're breathing, he's always assessing, he said, what potential advantage or weakness he can see down the other end that he can exploit. A lot of fascinating insights into how Novak sees this game, and this will be one of those moments in this third set that Prižmić has to be at his absolute best. You would expect there to be very little spillage from Djokovic on the return here. He will want to make the 18-year-old work hard to hang on to his serve.
Let's first.
Yeah, you've got to hit the reset button, don't
Block
you?
15.
Be resilient enough to take the disappointment of losing the previous set. Start again.
Just looking at some of his numbers tonight that we have here. Cross-court forehands for Novak up at 59% of the time. He's going cross-court. Been interesting last couple of years when he's been playing here, and it's felt quicker. He's been the one that's been very quick to the punch on the forehand down the line. There's been matches where he's been going down the line more with his forehand than actually going cross-court, trying to beat players quickly through the court. Well, he can't beat you cross-court, particularly off the return of serve, but I'll be interested to see as this match continues and as the tournament continues whether that's something that stays the same for Novak, because it would be an indicator that he feels as though the benefit of trying to take his forehand quickly and early down the line isn't there because the conditions are that much slower, and he's going to have to work the point more.
Judging
from that last little slow-mo, Fitzy, I think he's already kept his body pretty supple, this 18-year-old. His idol is Novak, and I guess he's taken a big leaf out of that book.
An early big moment, though.
30-40.
These big moments are always just around the corner, aren't they? No rest for the wicked, as they say.
Higher frequency of serves out wide on this ad side tonight from Prižmić.
Yep. It seems to be his favourite, doesn't it, on the big point?
Couldn't find it.
Cain, Djokovic. Djokovic leads 2-0.
Well, it's been 2 hours of incredible stuff from Dino, so you would expect at some stage he just has to dip, and whether that's it now and how long he can dip or stay low, that's the question. But gee, he's been great for the first couple of hours of this match. It's been so impressive. Novak, on the flip side, hasn't been at his best tonight. He's made quite a few unforced errors. He's a little agitated. You can see him talking now with John Blom, the umpire. He's just a bit frustrated about the crowd coming in and out. But he certainly has made a few more unforced errors, Mark and Fitzy, than what we've probably seen over the last couple of years early in the tournament. And guys, I think he's made a few more unforced errors just due to the quality of his opponent, the play of what we've seen from Prizmic. I'm not sure what you guys think up there, but that's what it looks like courtside.
Dangerous. He was out of court, wasn't he? Backed away. It's just when you're out here, you have to do. If you go down the line there, you have to do more with it because you're wide open.
Goes down as a clean winner. I'm not sure it was the cleanest hit that he's had tonight.
$15-30.
He's going to be a big boy when he fills out, isn't he? Young Dino.
I don't know if he needs to fill out that way. I mean, he can go upwards. If he can fill out that way, it's going to help his serve an awful lot. Backpedaling was Novak, but huge forward propulsion on that forehand from somewhere, and it caught Prižmić flat-footed for one of the few times tonight.
I think that's one of the hardest shots in the game, to back away like that and hook it down the line, inside, in, as they say. over the high part of the net. That was as good as it gets, really. He's not totally comfortable, is he?
Josh, has it got windier?
It certainly has. It's coming down the court from behind Novak and just swirling around a little bit. And I think you're right, Fitzy. He is not as comfortable as he would like to be. There's no doubt about it. And again, yes, it conditions a little bit, but I just think that extra ball just keeps coming back from Prižmić. He is moving well. He's a great athlete. And the quality of the ball is coming back as well.
Absolutely sensational. First day of the Australian Open, already indelible memories being made.
2 games to 1, 30 seconds.
Well, every time those quads contract, they break the tape.
He's like the Incredible Hulk out there.
It's like the only thing that's going to keep him together is duct tape. I've never seen duct tape.
I'm turning green thinking about it.
I mean, how good was this rally? Novak invested everything in terms of just keeping the ball to a decent length, opened up the opportunity, tried to extend the point. Prižmić was just not going anywhere. And also, Josh, the discipline to play a rally like that.
I couldn't agree more. That's what I was just thinking in that last rally. Like, he is not sucked into pulling the trigger. He's disciplined and waits for that right ball. But, gee, he's got some serious pace on his forehand. He is ripping it.
Mark, if you're going to nickname him the Incredible Hulk, we have to decide. Lou Ferrigno, Eric Banner. Who is it?
Eric Banner for me. I don't know about you. But I mean, he is something else from a physical standpoint. Novak trying to I'll tell you one of the other stats that's interesting tonight, and this isn't completely against the grain against great players as well, but rallies of 9 shots or more, Prižmić has had the edge over Djokovic tonight. He's 119 and the world #1 just 11. Where he's getting beaten is in the quicker form 0 to 4 shots. Novak far better. Often players beat themselves against great players because they think they've got to go early and hard in a rally and make a ton of unforced errors and make it easier for the best players. Prižmić hasn't.
I think that stat you came up with can only be good news for Prižmić and his future. If he can stay with Novak for long rallies, that shows something pretty special. He can improve the other one.
Yeah.
0 to 4.
Let's first serve.
There's another one. If you can stay with this guy over long rallies, I don't want to draw you in the first round. Or the second or the third. Goran always looks a bit concerned, but maybe it's genuine here.
Goes his way. The only area that may be just a little bit of a concern for Prižmić right now is the slow but seemingly steady drop off in pace on his first serve. It's a small data point at the start of this third set, but he's been averaging 192 Ks. He's down at 184 right now. Maybe he's changing things up, mixing it up, or is he just fatiguing a little bit and can't quite find that pace?
Portugal 15. Prižmić, new ball, please. Ball change, please.
Not that anyone in his camp will be surprised about the durability of Prižmić. They would have seen it day in, day out in the lab back in Split and in Zagreb. But everybody here absolutely enthralled in this one. I have to say a big congrats to Tennis Australia here at the Australian Open for letting these fans in the middle of a lot of these long games. It's great to see them being flooding in. The players will get used to it.
Hurry along quickly, please. Thank you.
Let's not forget, back in August of 1994, when Andre Agassi was playing in New Haven against Jan Simeric, and they brought in the music experiment for the very first time at changeovers. The rock and roll star didn't love it, blasted the tournament officials, said if this becomes part of the game, I'm not playing. The music's still playing, and the fans should be allowed in.
There's the great man. Four-time champion at this tournament. Well,
15 all.
Still neck and neck. Hasn't been able to break the shackles, has Novak? And I'm not sure there's many in this stadium would have believed the situation we're in right now. This is a genuine contest.
The incredible Hulk.
That may well stick, Josh. What?
I mean, it's not often, guys, you see Novak just beaten up physically. He normally does this to his opponents, but he's battling out here big time.
There's a bit of Mr. T there too. Not short on precious metal.
Just a little quicker there from Novak. That was an interesting moment, wasn't it? That was a fairly knowledgeable crowd, because that was the kind of silence that underscores a massive moment, usually at the back end of a match, not in the middle of a set at 30-all on serve. But the crowd recognizing how much stress the world #1 is under at the moment.
Yes.
Classy finish. One of the other areas that's been quite interesting tonight is just to see how infrequently Novak has chosen to use his forehand as his first shot after the serve. He's usually, he sits around 68% of the time trying to get his forehand into play after his serve. He's right down there tonight at 38%, happy just to coax backhands over. And you can see how destructive the forehand is on that final point. And there have been a few looks over to his various coaches about the forehand and whether he's not entirely comfortable with that shot, which is why he's trying to beat Prižmić tonight with that two-hander. I don't know.
He's got X factor. I mean, that was a defensive forehand that a young player could control with underspin and put it in a very awkward place for Novak.
You talk about the evolution of a game, and even in match, nothing's static, it's always changing. But that serve there from Novak was something that he produced, because his kicker on the ad side in particular was getting beaten hands down by players, committed to the task of believing that a big second serve down the tee on the ad could bail him out of trouble. And the avalanche of majors that came after it was testament to the right strategy. He's delivered again.
Djokovic.
Neither of those two forehands were massaged. Both feet coming off the ground on both of those shots. That's how much energy the players are having to expend to get the ball through the court. Prižmić again just not overplaying the situation at all. Quite happy to trade with a couple of little slices. And Novak understandably forcing that forehand. If there's anything to read into those stats, it's a tribute to the way that Prižmić has played. He is forcing Novak to stick the needle of the speedometer on that forehand side right in the red zone. Errors will come.
Advantage Djokovic.
How alert was he to that opportunity?
Yes.
And he's got the weapons. He's got the first step speed to get out there, and then the power to put it away.
Thank you.
He's an advanced 18-year-old. Isn't that interesting?
Advantage.
Players generally go after that second serve when they're under pressure, but Novak's good enough to make it. Big second serve there when he was, in his mind, under the pump.
Mark, I can't imagine he would have lost too many games, let alone a set at the French Open Juniors last year.
Let's go. Advantage, Prižmić.
He did lose one.
It's way too early, Josh, I know, to ask. But I'm going to ask it anyway, whether he can win it or not. It's too far away, isn't it? That'd be a silly question, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'm not so sure. He's playing very well.
There's a lot of runway from here.
A lot. Gee, that's twice he's done that. He's had the break point and missed the return.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, he doesn't look, out of breath or puffed after he plays a long point. He looks very comfortable physically, which is not always the case when guys play Novak, because we know how well Novak changes direction, the depth of shot. So physically, he looks really quite fresh for a guy that's played 2.5 hours with Novak.
Advantage, Prižmić.
As I said, that forehand down the line has been such a good barometer of Novak's success and form here at the Australian Open in the last couple of years. Wayward there. Undiluted entertainment all around the Rod Laver Arena. 3-2, Prižmić. And everybody inside just wondering if it is possible what Fitzy said on the outside there. Look at this drone show. I might have been able to hit one in the middle of the racket if it had been that big, Fitzy. Maybe. It's still a big if. always pushing the envelope at this tournament. It has become much more than just a tennis event, as it should be. It is an attention sport, and we are in an environment where we need eyeballs on it, and there have been an awful lot in this opening day. 85,000 fans, roughly. Melbourne at night, and it is absolutely magical. And the magic is happening up in the stars. And one of the biggest stars in the game of tennis of all time that has illuminated Melbourne over a decade now is in all sorts of trouble. Tennis seems to have unearthed another gem, and it is Dino Prizmic from Croatia.
Yeah, I think we can say that no matter what happens tonight here, he's going to be a star of the future. The Hulk.
Finland.
Well, after getting that early bandage on his leg, it just doesn't seem to be hampering him at all, does it? He's lunging, covering so much ground in most of these points.
I like this play here. I think Novak needs to try and maybe take a few chances on Dino's second serve, or at least have a bit more presence, move up in the court, just try and go out after that and just try and see if he can get, you know, maybe a few more short replies. At the moment, there's no space, there's just no place for Novak to attack into, obviously, throughout the course of these rallies in this match.
Well, a look at the cup that's usually in his hands on the final Sunday.
15-14.
Although on Mr. First Sunday, it's perhaps slipping through his grasp, but he's got a potential chance here to turn things around. Well, it's the uncertainty that he causes you as an opponent that I think is the most impressive. There's this kind of willingness to trade and go deep and not overplay any situation. But then he's got the firepower to force it through your defenses. It's just never comfortable.
Very awkward shot there too. Novak did incredibly well to get that first serve back in an awkward position.
Yes.
This could have easily been missed, this forehand.
Tidied things up beautifully.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Well, can he physically last 5 sets? He's made him work again this game, Djokovic.
Wait, please. No. Can you raise the camera, please?
Djokovic shows his mettle.
Yeah, he does. And I'm not sure, but I just have an inkling there was a tiny bit of tapering off of energy there. Josh, did you notice it or not?
Well, quite possibly. He's walking, you know, nice and slowly to the towel, just trying to buy a bit of time. But I'd be amazed. It'd almost be inhumane if he wasn't feeling somewhat fatigued. 2 hours and 40 minutes against the greatest of all time. So you would have to expect it's going to come at some stage. But
move along quickly, please.
Yeah, he's looking good though. Like between rallies, he's not looking as fatigued. I'm not sure what you guys think up there.
Coming in between the games. Every time. I mean, 30 or 50 seconds we lose every time.
I agree.
I think it's already the longest first round that Djokovic has played at the Australian Open, Josh.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think off the top of my head, the last time he played that real long first round against Paul Goldstein way back in 2006.
Love 15.
Interesting that he wasn't happy there with the players, with the public coming in the even game. All of the players are obviously aware of it.
Yeah. Well, he's saying that they're losing 30, 40 seconds. And maybe he's more concerned about the fact that it's giving Prižmić more chance to recover in those moments after a game like that.
Laver.
agent for Novak this year. Back right there, Mark Madden. Certainly be hoping some things remain the same though in 2024.
15,
like dominating
13.
the scenery here in Melbourne. How many times have we seen that from Prižmić tonight? Scrambles one over.
15, 14. Let's. 13-14.
He's got it all, hasn't he? He can attack. He's already an incredibly good defensive player, Mark, as you noted earlier. He's got all the shots in the book, it seems. Exciting. But as good as he's been so far in this match, there is a long way to go to beat the champ.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Two big games there.
And that may just be the fulcrum that Djokovic can use to push on from here. 4-3, third set. Well, there was just a little moment perhaps in that third set where the Go Novak fans were a little concerned that it was Novak gone, but he's turned things around, and the longer this match goes on, surely it has to play into the favour of the world #1 as well. If he can snatch this third set, no matter what sort of miracle or miracles that Prižmić can produce in a fourth set, surely over 5 at 18 years old against one of the best endurance athletes in tennis, he won't have enough.
Yeah, and this is why Grand Slam tennis is so hard. Over 5 sets in the men's game, so hard to beat the better players. This is why it is very difficult for non-top 5 players to win slams.
been a brilliant summer of tennis in Australia already. From Hobart, Brisbane, Perth, Sydney, Adelaide to the Australian Open here in Melbourne. Lots of stories already written, some confidence being made by certain players, some concerns for others like Novak with the wrist injury over in Perth at the United Cup, and also getting pushed to the brink right now. 18 years old, fresh face, but playing like a veteran.
I don't know about you, Mark, but when I look at this and I see when Djokovic comes back from a breakdown and gets his nose in front again, you half expect the youngster to just drop off a notch. With most players, you do. It's rare that they don't, but it's even rarer that an 18-year-old doesn't. He's maintaining incredibly well for nearly 3 hours now. Craig Tiley. Andre Sarr there to his right, to our left. Andre Egley.
Correct.
One of the supervisors. Neutral. From Switzerland.
(30-15).
Wonderful return. Anticipated the serve down the middle, or read it, one or the other, and took it early.
30.
Young Dino cannot slip up here. Well, another mistake here could cost him the set.
on a forehand. And despite desperate defence from Prižmić, he gets the valuable break.
Djokovic leads 5-3.
And guys, I think for the first time he does look a little fatigued. Dino Prizmic, he just a little sluggish during that last rally. And Novak is trying to bring the crowd into it. He's asking for more support, and he'll get it if he keeps playing like he has in the last 10 minutes. He's just tightened things up, a lot more consistent. And have a look at this reaction.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
He's asking for more. Certainly couldn't have asked for more from both these two players.
Love 15.
Once again, giving cause for optimism in his support crew. Everything Djokovic is getting tonight, he's having to earn. That's when life is at its best, when it's at its most meaningful. Certainly was for that fan. Interesting that he decided to not go with the big second serve down the tee. That's been an average of 175 down that particular channel in the court, but you feel as though, as Josh was just saying and Fitzy's alluding to, that Novak feels as though his opponent is just starting to fatigue out here, and he's going to be superior suddenly in the longer rallies.
Let's go, sir.
big moment to try that. A deliberate short slice there to bring Prižmić forward, and it was just played to perfection.
40-30.
The slice and glide. No matter the situation, he plays the right shot at the right time with utter conviction.
And third set, Djokovic.
The undiluted passion of the 10-time champion comes from a breakdown in this third set to take it 6-3. And nothing, Fitzy, tells you more about champions' mentality, that they love the fight, even in moments like this when he is pushed to the brink, when he is trailing against a player that I'm sure before stepping out he knew was going to be in a battle, but didn't think he would be a breakdown in the third.
No way. I wouldn't think he would have thought that. It's pretty telling, though, that he needed all that energy and commitment and adrenaline to get himself over the line in that third set. It's been a close contest.
And there again, just see how Prižmić has been able to get his forehand into play early. That is not a number, by the way, hunting the third shot, you would normally see against Novak. He is so good at finding his opponent's weakness, and generally that is the backhand after their serve, but he hasn't been able to find it as often with Prižmić tonight. But what he has found is the right shot at the right time.
And this is how hard it is to beat the great players over 5 sets, as well as Prižmić has played. He's been in the match from start to now, and he still finds himself down 2-1.
Well, I make this the 5th opening round match of a major that has gone past the 3 hours for Novak Djokovic. Won the others against Gael Monfils, the longest that he's had to battle at the US Open back in 2005. In the heat there was all sorts of drama going on against the Frenchman right at the start of the genesis of his greatness. That one nearly went 4 hours, 3 hours and 57, but he got past Rokas at Wimbledon, Troitsky at the US Open in 2010 in 5 sets. And I believe that's about 48 slams ago, the last time he was taken to 5 sets in an opening round match. Julien Benneteau also took him to 4 sets at Wimbledon, but past the 3-hour mark. But it is not often that this man is pushed to this particular point in an opening round match at a major. So already a bit of a Pyrrhic victory for Prižmić. But he'll want the ultimate success, and in doing so is taking his leave of the court. One thing I will say, Josh, about Prižmić, he's not the quickest player out there, and it'll be interesting to see how other players deal with that as they go forward.
No, that's right. He plays it on his own terms. But look, he's got a real sense of belonging on this big stage, and the way that he goes about his work. He's not deterred at all the fact that he's playing the greatest of all time and the world #1. He's certainly held Novak up a couple of times and slowed him down, and yeah, I like that. That's gamesmanship, and he's well within his right to play those games. But this is a long toilet break going on now, and I think these days the clock is on, but he'll use every second of that break that he's entitled to. Look, he's going to need to now. He's definitely fatigued. There's no doubt about it after dropping that third set. That was huge. I would have loved to have seen him win that third set just to see what Novak's response would have been. But look, nonetheless, he is an amazing player. I've been so impressed with what we've seen tonight, and what an opening night. What an atmosphere. It's pumping down here.
I know, and it's a shame we don't have the camera on you. You're doing some great moves that we can't get on here.
Well, I've got my wife next to me.
We'd like to see a bit of dad dancing.
No, look, it's you won't see any of that, guys, but what you will see is you're seeing a star of the future, I believe, in this guy. And I'm not sure if you can hear it through your microphones up there, but it is rocking courtside.
Well, he's lasted 3 hours with Novak at this level.
Just a word about the atmosphere in the day here, Fitzy. It's been absolutely fantastic. I know there will be the naysayers will be saying, well, this is going to do absolutely nothing for earlier finishes. The fact that we've started a day earlier, because of course we still do have the defending champion on the ladies' side to come tonight, Sabalenka, in that regard. But you can't get around the fact that today has been an absolutely unqualified success for the Australian Open in terms of fans through the gate, and I'm sure eyeballs on this match as well around the globe. The Australian Open has well and truly started.
Players are ready.
What does Prižmić have left?
Settle down, please. Thank you.
It'll be another feather in his cap, Dino Prizmic, if he can stay with Novak longer and not drop off now. I think the majority of players would probably start to drop off a bit, even if they're fatigued. But just the fact that they fought so hard, they're down 2-1 against this level of play. If he can maintain it even further, it will tell us even more about him. First time he's overrun the ball there, and that can be a bit of tiredness too. Bit of leg strength there, not pushing back at the right time. Just getting too close. I think Josh is right, as always. You know, he's going to have to push himself physically here to stay with Djokovic early, you would expect, in the fourth.
Definitely, you're seeing the court and the conditions really slow at the moment. It's nearly 10:30 at night local time. It's cool. It's only 19 degrees out here, and this court just feels heavy. There's not a lot of winners, and so the match is really turning into a physical grind.
Isn't it amazing how the conditions change so much here from day to night? Temperature.
Thank you.
goodness me. Just when you feel as though he is running on vapours, he comes up with something like that.
13.
Well, I think he's got to take some chances now, guys. I mean, to just try and outgrind Novak over the next 2 sets and win both of them, I'm not so sure anyone can possibly do that. So I just feel he has to take a little more risk. The forehand's the weapon. You've got to use it, and that is simply awesome.
Cheers.
I'm sure Novak will be happy he started on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Get an extra day to recover from this. This is physical. He wouldn't have been counting on something quite as strenuous as this. Assuming he wins.
Advantage, Djokovic.
What a thrill ride this has been. It may be coming to the end,
Djokovic.
but it will live in the memory banks for a long time.
First game, 4 sets.
You'll all remember when you first saw Djokovic play and you knew then he was on a different vector to everybody else. It feels the same with Prižmić.
He had the presence of mind there still while he was defending Prižmić to attempt the winner down the line. Novak will be relieved there. He's trying to drive home this early advantage now. And just quickly now, it seems like Prižmić is defending every point, doesn't it? I mean, not the aggressor at the moment, just trying to hang in there. And if he goes on, which we expect he will now, Novak, to win this, it'll be interesting to hear how impressed he is with this young man. Super impressed, I would think. Have to be.
First.
He's even got that behind the back.
For Chile.
Seems like the bubble is bursting, doesn't it? Over 3 sets, he had a realistic chance tonight. 5 sets is a different story.
Yeah, I think this is the 24th match here at the Australian Open for Novak that's gone past the 3-hour mark. Let's not forget this was just Prižmić's second tiebreaker tonight that he's ever played on tour.
A chasm in experience difference.
Yeah, Novak's had over 100 matches at Grand Slam level that have gone past the 3-hour mark. He's had 108 matches at Grand Slam level where he's led by 2 sets to 1, and he's lost just 5 times.
Djokovic leads by 3
It
games
doesn't
to
look
none.
as though he's going to lose a 6th.
Well, Dino wasn't missing that ball just 20 or 30 minutes ago. He was making every one. So good to have new young faces.
Seats, please. Thank you.
It's one-way traffic now, though.
Yeah, he's in beast mode at the moment. Novak, he's just locked in, refusing to miss. He's definitely got better in the last half an hour of play. I just thought he's that sort of, from the tie break, he was a little scratchy early in the third, but now he's just really tightened things up, and he will be loving tightening the screws on this young opponent.
Exhibition stuff with more than a hint of extreme excellence attached.
Well, he'd be breathing easier, no doubt about it, but he would have been gasping for breath for a period of tonight. He was under pressure for a long period here, and now the shackles have been loosened.
Look at that touch.
And Dino having to reach and scramble on virtually every point now.
It's been the finest exponent, Novak, of what I call Tetris tennis. Is that's what you're going to give me if you ever play Tetris. You get given the brick, that's where I'm going to put it. That's what he's been brilliant at. You give me that shot, I'm going to give you this one back. Hasn't had it his own way tonight in that regard. And that is down to the fact that he's playing somebody like Dino Prizmic can almost move as well as he can. Hardest shot to hit that
15,
when it's got no pace on
40.
it. And the exhaustion has set in.
Well, it was surely a pipe dream to think that his camp really thought he could actually win.
You thought?
I was wondering. Yes, I don't deny. But the reality, it's just so hard. They'll be happy though, won't they? They know they've got a ball player of the highest order.
Djokovic.
That's truly magnificent from Novak. The
Djokovic
effort he
leads
put
3
in
minutes
to
to
get
none.
behind the ball to hit the two-hander. Exceptional. 3 left. Well, they'll be digging through a fair bit of the numbers at the back end of this, and I think there'll be some pretty reading for somebody like Prižmić. The one area that he's going to obviously have a little look at is obviously Djokovic's second serve, and where Novak was able to be very sort of successful, and perhaps where Prižmić can be a little bit better. Those quick serves that we've been talking about 20 k's quicker on average through the tee on the 75% blue strip there, has obviously been very significant into Prižmić's forehand there. But again, you've got to give the accolades to Novak's serve. He has worked hard on being able to produce a serve at 110 miles an hour, 175 k's without missing on big points. It takes courage, but it also takes a huge amount of skill. Back in Novak's house, and everybody having a good time. 15,000 guests, and many of them are going to go away with a big smile on their face now as he moves through to the second round, potentially. It would take something quite astonishing, you feel, for this to get away from Djokovic from here. And I guess he thought it was easier to play rather than risk leaving it and for it to drop out, because I'm pretty sure it was going to drift wide.
all. 30-15.
Masterful. Just this play takes extreme skill to take the speed off that ball. Magnificent.
A lifetime of dedication to his craft.
Cain, Djokovic, new balls, please.
If winning was a vice, he'd be in rehab because it is a pure addiction. All the miles over the years, all the miles just tonight, and yet the unconditional love. It's still there, as effervescent as ever. And still teaching the kids how to do it. The largest gap in terms of age in a men's singles Grand Slam match, this, between a world #1 and his opponent. 18 years and 75 days separate these two. Not much has separated them tonight for the opening 3 sets.
Love 15.
But there is a vast chasm between the two of them now.
Pressing with the new balls. I'm sure he wants to finish it here. Novak. Get off the court now as quickly. He's had more than enough, I'm sure, on an opening night.
Well, there's one great returner sitting in the crowd tonight, the four-time champion Andre Agassi. But surely even he would have been impressed with that.
Yeah, you just watch here, guys. You see the reaction. He just looks up at Andre and gives him a bit of a wink after that return. Andre gives him the fist.
He saw the funny side of it.
Yes.
Well, the best are usually imitated, but those two can never be duplicated. They are two very authentic, unique champions in their own way.
You have to admire this too.
Yeah, he's no smoke seller,
no.
Prižmić.
Character. At the end of the day, I think that's what makes the champion.
Prižmić.
And he's got plenty of it.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 1.
Charisma and class. Djokovic, though, 4-1. Came up with something very good there after that return of serve that Novak knocked in. Wasn't deterred, as he hasn't been all night, from at least getting on the board here in the 4th set. There's a bit of pride involved here for the 18-year-old. And that look would suggest that he still feels as though potentially he could turn this around. Bit of an emergency here for Prižmić in terms of the scoreline. I'm sure exactly what he can do to stop this onslaught from the other end of the court. If he does have one, it's time to break the glass.
Let's whistle.
Oh.
Fifteen love.
Oh.
15 all.
This is gutsy. And almost as impressive as anything else for me. To not lie down, to keep searching for more games, try to keep Djokovic out here as long as he possibly can. And I know I've mentioned it, but character. That's what a young player needs to learn early, and he's got it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, please. 15-40.
The reaction from Prižmić in the last game when he held on to his serve, perhaps the precursor to this mini revival coming. It wasn't a look of a man that thought he was defeated.
Just a bit short up the middle of the court. We get some luck.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Prižmić.
I'm happy to give him that little bit of luck. I think he deserves it. One break pack.
Djokovic leads 4-2.
Yeah, and in amongst the rubble of the opening 4 games of this 4th set, he has found something just a little bit. And those last couple of games were impressive from him.
Simply not to go away. So many players would have thought, no, I'm done. I can't stay with him any longer. Not this young man. Did this Englishman see that?
Good take, huh?
Well, that'll annoy Novak, you'd think.
15 love.
He still has to. He still has to compete now to get over the line. That no longer has the cushion of the double break.
Fifteen all.
This will not be an easy game for Prižmić to squeeze the gap to just 1 game. Been a little surprised at how extravagant Novak has been on some of these returns. I mean, he has really tried to put his foot down in terms of the speed on some of these first serve returns.
Getting behind Dino here, some of this crowd. They want more.
Let's Verso.
Oh.
40-30.
The wild second serve.
Djokovic
He recovers as he keeps doing
serve.
tonight, and he does close the gap to the one game. Djokovic still with a break though, 4-3. In amongst everything else that we've seen tonight from Prižmić, this has arguably been three of the most impressive games. At 4-love down and looking as though he was down and out, and he's acquitted himself. He's come through qualifying. He was fully committed to the task of somehow continuing to make himself a bit of a nuisance out here for the world #1, and he has done exactly that. Had a bit of good fortune to get the break back, or one of the two break backs that he needs in this 4-set with the net cord. But then once again we saw an immense amount of fortitude, more importantly for Prižmić, in terms of that hold of serve. Not just the camera wobbling, the world #1 as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a small problem with our camera. Once it moves, we'll be able to give
Sky cam there, just a little slow.
Thank you.
Hovering a bit low there for a period of time. Okay, still has a break in hand here, Novak. You know, just the physical effort of an 18-year-old has been impressive, hasn't it? I mean, he's done some mileage tonight. You have to be precocious as an 18-year-old. It's like a 2-year-old racehorse, you know, that they're advanced, sort of big and strong before their time, and he's a bit like that. This is a bit of a rare case.
Novak hits the accelerator as he attempts to pump the brakes on the comeback from Prižmić.
Cain, Djokovic. Djokovic leads 5-3.
For a brief moment in the opening set, towards the end of it, he was luxuriating in the lead here in this opening round in Melbourne, but it has been anything but easy subsequent to that. Pushed right to the extremities of his skill set.
Love 15.
Clever. Just showcasing his all-around talent here, Novak. A deliberate short slice, not a drop shot. Takes the speed off the ball, brushes the strings lightly across. And brings his opponent forward.
Look of respect. That's what that was. That was an acknowledgement to the present and what may well be the future of men's tennis.
Love 14.
And he may well be mentally tough, Novak Djokovic, but his skill set on a tennis court is simply exceptional. Showcased it in the last couple of points. Here are 3 match points.
15-14. Let's first. (30-14).
May not capture the win, but he has captured many hearts here tonight in Melbourne.
Not over till it's over, Mark.
Advantage, Djokovic. Let's proceed.
Well, I'm not going to forget him. I know that.
Yes.
And neither's anyone in this 15,000 seat stadium. The beginning.
Advantage, Prižmić. Cain, Prižmić.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal
Djokovic
from the
leads
18-year-old.
5 games to 4 court serves.
He is not wilted, he's not waned. And he has wanted to stay out here for every second that he can on court with the world's best.
Yeah. There's a lot of seasoned professionals that could learn a lot from this young man. Wow. You cannot not be impressed. You get that serve bigger too.
Yeah.
Time.
Well, if there's one image you'll take away from tonight, apart from the glorious stroke making, the kaleidoscope of rallies that these two have combined to entertain us with for verging on 4 hours, it's that look of determination etched deep into the brow of Prižmić. He's never given up hope.
Love. Down. Thank you. That's enough now. Thank you.
Prižmić, like so many before him, finding there are no perfect answers to the world #1's best tennis. We have seen the rich array of shots from Djokovic tonight.
It's been memorable.
The longest opening round in terms of time of Djokovic's career at the majors.
Novak Djokovic.
It's 29 consecutive wins for Novak at the Australian Open.
6-7, 6-3, 6-4.
Sunday scenes in Melbourne, they hit differently for Novak. It's usually when he's lifting a trophy over his head. Today he escapes by the skin of his teeth, and Dino Prizmic is a new superstar on the men's tour. The crowd know they have witnessed something that was outstanding, and in doing so are all upstanding.
Yeah, and I think Novak's reaction there says it all.
He knows that he was pushed to the brink. He knows how good Prižmić played tonight, and he was very keen to make sure that the crowd were grateful of the effort that came from the 18-year-old from Croatia. We won't see any more of him in Australia though, but we will of Novak as he gets through to the second round. But that was a scare job.
Wow. When you look at that scoreline in future, if you don't know the reality, you would think, well, probably wasn't that close. But that was a mighty performance from an 18-year-old. If I had a hat on, I'd take it off one.
Well, the comfort comes cascading down from the stadium stands here for Prižmić as he walks off toe-to-toe with the world's best on his most successful court at a major. And he thrilled, he entertained for over 4 hours and 1 minute as he staggers back. He had to make it through qualifying even to have the chance to take on Novak, who keeps his record intact against qualifiers at majors, 22-0. But there's not a person in this stadium that doesn't want to hear what Novak has to say against Prižmić. He's with Jim.
Novak, that's the first time you've played Dino. It's the first time he's played a match in the main draw of a major. I just want to get your quick first impressions on his game and his future here.
I mean, he deserved every applause, every credit that he got tonight. He's an amazing player, I must say, so mature for his age. He handled himself on the court incredibly well. This is his moment, honestly. I mean, it could have easily been his match as well. He was a break-up in the third. He fought, even though he was 4-love down and a break point down for 5-love. He fought. He showed great mentality, resilience. He made me really run for my money for sure tonight. That's for sure. And honestly, I have many praises for him, many compliments. I'll be talking about it later in the press conference probably, to deconstruct his game. But you know, I love the way he, you know, he's using every inch of the court. You know, he's comfortable to come in. He's defending incredibly well. Just amazing performance for someone that is 18 years old, that never had an experience of playing on a big stage. Big kudos to him, to his team, to his family. And I certainly want to be in his corner, so hopefully he'll invite me, because he's going to make some big things in his career, that's for sure. We're going to see a lot of him in the future.
Well, we saw about 4 hours of you tonight in the first round, something we don't often see. How would you rate your game? I know you came in with an injury concern. You looked like you were healthy out there. How are you feeling about your level of tennis right now?
Well, I started off very well for a 36-year-old guy. But, well, geez, when you think about it, I'm double his age. Reality hits hard tonight, but no, look, you know, I'm really trying to enjoy every moment on the court. Obviously, I struggled in many different moments tonight, but you know, it was credit to him due to his incredible game plan. You know, he just had an answer for everything. He was very physical, particularly from this end. You know, you have a slight breeze in your back, so it's a bit easier to serve and most of the breaks came from this side. But you know, yeah, just I had good moments. Some moments I wish I could have played better, maybe more aggressive. But you know, haven't played here in a year. It's been a very short off season, so physically I'm still finding myself out there on the court. But now I have a couple of days till my next match, so hopefully I'll be able to be at my best for next match.
You're going for number 11 here this year. Last question, it'll be a quick one. You're the greatest champion Melbourne Park has ever seen, 11 times. So there's a 4-time champion here in the front row. Did you notice your old coach, your friend Andre Agassi, is here tonight?
Of course, of course. Andre, great to have you. Thank you so much for gracing us, and of course Australian Open with your presence tonight. It's amazing to see you. I haven't seen you in years. Actually, it was 4-love and deuce, and I made a forehand winner, and I smiled at you and I said, it's almost like your return. After that, I lost 3 games in a row. So, not your fault, my fault. I lost my focus, but I was, of course, you know, inspired by your presence and overwhelmed to see you. Thank you very much for coming out. Justin, thank you as well. Thank you, guys. Love to see you.
It's great to see everybody here. How about this 11-time champion if he gets one more this year? He's a 10-time champion. It's Novak.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. He did the maths very quickly, and it was a bit of a shock, I think, to Novak to just realize just the difference in age. And it was the biggest difference in a Grand Slam match between a world #1 in terms of the age between these two. But in terms of the talent gap between it was wafer thin. But Novak, as ever, finds a way to wind his way into the second round here in Australia. And as Fitzy has been rightly saying, he'll be very thankful that he's got up and running on the first Sunday. A little extra time to recover from that absolutely brutal physical contest out there. Is it a sign of things to come for all players? Match summary will tell you a little bit, and in fact I'm more interested in what was going on at the bottom of the page there in terms of not the energy spent, but the hunting the third shot, in terms of Novak not necessarily doing what he normally does, which is trying to get his forehand into play very early. Is that a sign that the wrist is still a little bit of a problem for him, even though he's saying everything's okay? Or was it because the quality of the return from Prižmić was that good? But we're going to find out a lot more about the Croatian over the next 12 months in that regard. And in terms of Novak, he is going to be very happy that he's managed to scramble through to the safety of the second round here in Melbourne after being pushed to the brink. The second serve points one was crucial, and another area that the 18-year-old will go and have a look at in terms of what he can do in the future to try and protect itself against the world's best returner.